Hello and welcome to Collaboratory, the show where guest artist Mike Morris improvises a storyboard with a little help from our audience, and we learn a little bit about the craft of storyboarding along the way. For viewers joining us for the first time, what are we looking for from our audience?
Well, we're looking for a few things. First of all, we need characters, we need a setting, and we need a conflict. Those are the three things that we're looking for in any collaboratory that we do. So more than one character generally is what we've done. I think we topped out at like 3 maybe, but 2 is usually good. A setting for them to operate inside of, and we need a conflict between the two of them that sparks some sort of story.
Yeah, in previous episodes, we covered a used car salesman that happened to be a unicorn, a pair of merfolk on a road trip across Monument Valley, an underwater prison break in a sunken pirate ship, an elven astronaut who shouted catchphrases like cookies and milkshakes. So if you suggest it, Mike might have to draw it. Did I miss any there?
No, actually, I just told my crew of the upcoming Lightbox event, Animation Dance Party, to tune in, and they can give me instructions on stuff to draw for once.
It's amazing. So we've previously spoken about lines and scripts that can cause issues for storyboard artists, like they fight or everybody breaks out into dance. So while we're waiting for suggestions to come in, Mike, can you think of decisions that storyboard artists can make that can cause issues for other artists on a production?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's 2 things that you're really running across in a lot of, well, any artistic endeavor. You've got money and time, right? And time being one of the things that is always in short supply, seemingly. But there's a certain economical factor that you can have that will mitigate a little bit of that, where you can use the same setup more than once. I think the biggest fallacy in a lot of new board artists is that you have to have every shot be unique, every shot be like a spectacular thing. But sometimes you need something a little bit more static, just so your eye can rest. Mixing up static versus dynamic shots, or one of the things that I learned from a board artist that I worked with was create a good master shot and then cut in and out of it. Like use sections of that master shot where you don't have to keep creating new artwork that has just that little teeny, more specific point of view. Sometimes you need that, but not always.
All right, so suggestions are beginning to come in.
Okay.
We've got a tornado that meets a volcano. I'm not sure if that is a conflict, a character, or a setting, but it's interesting. I
think it would kind of be interesting to see 2 natural disasters fighting over who gets to wreck some guy's farm or something.
Ooh, I like that. We also have someone who thinks the reflection in the mirror is a different person. And I feel like since we have the medium of animation at our disposal, the person in the mirror could be a different person.
Yeah, I could see that. Maybe like, split personality Gollum sort of thing.
Yeah. Or something like magical realist, like your mirror got mixed up with somebody else's mirror and like, okay, well, I guess we're going to have to figure out how to shave today.
Okay, what else we got?
Waiting for more suggestions to come in. While we're waiting, Mike, what kind of scenes can be particularly difficult to animate, especially in 2D animation? Like, what are some things people should be aware of when creating storyboard art?
Well, one thing that we come across that a lot of people don't realize, and recently with my Animation Dance Party crew, we talked about this, is that pans require animation to be what's called ones. So for those of you animators in the know, when you draw on ones, that means every frame is something you have to draw on. So animation works 24 frames a second, right? So when you're panning, your camera is moving at 1 frame per second all the way across, right? And so your animation has to do that as well, or otherwise it's going to stutter against the camera.
Yeah. I think the effect is also sometimes called strobing too, where you have when the frame rate of the character doesn't match the frame rate of the background. It's interesting because there are different ways also to deal with it too.
Yeah. So long pans generally have to be drawn on ones, unless you find it like a clever workaround. Like I know in Harmony, you can put something on a peg, and if you don't show their feet necessarily, you can have them walking and not have to, do some stuff like that. You can just pan the background behind them. But if you do anything with full body or full motion, that's going to have to be drawn on ones. Otherwise, it's going to strobe like crazy. So, I mean, there's, lots of different little things that can add to animation workloads. Let's see.
Having a ton of characters on screen is something that animation departments don't tend to love.
Yeah. I remember one time when I was in The Simpsons, the script came down that was like, I think I may have talked about this before, but it was just like, a stadium, a soccer stadium full of fans that are cheering and going crazy. And it's like, well, yeah, that took you, 3 seconds to type out, because most writers are really fast typers. But that's going to take some guy like a month to draw. So because there's just so many moving parts, and I think stuff that is like really effects heavy is going to take a while too, because just effects take a while.
Yeah, that is a whole department that you've brought into that scene.
Yeah, so I mean, I think as a board artist, what you have to do is like, is this thing actually really necessary, or is it just something that I think looks cool? Because if it looks cool is the only reason you're doing something, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. We've seen a lot of movies lately that are doing things just because it looks cool, and that sort of stuff always tends to fall flat, as opposed to being something that's really story driven.
I tend to feel like if you're working the medium of animation, I think there's an understandable tendency towards like, this looks cool, let's do it.
But yeah,
I do take your point of like, well, why are you doing that?
Yeah, but it's like that comes down to storytelling as well. Lately I've been kind of addicted to like, is this really how it works? And they show like a bunch of movie clips and then have some expert come in and be like, yeah, that's not accurate like at all. Looks cool, but it's not accurate at all. And there's a certain balance I think you have to strike between what looks cool and what like serves a story. But if you're doing it just solely because it looks cool and it doesn't drive the story forward, then, it's going to ring hollow.
I think that's a fair point. So we got a bunch of suggestions that just came in.
Oh, cool.
We've got 2 people fighting over bed sheets at night, which I think could also tie in with the 2 natural disasters fighting. That could be interesting. One really big and one really small character, so like an elephant and a mouse, was a suggestion too, maybe with the bed sheets. A man with chainsaws for hands falls in love with a woman made of balloons. That seems unnecessarily violent. Let's see what else they have.
I mean, it's an interesting dichotomy, but at the same time, it's kind of like bummer for the both of you.
Yeah, and I mean, gasoline's expensive, right? Like, you don't want to have chainsaw hands in this economy.
No. What else we got?
Let's see. I think we want some more ideas. I do kind of like the idea of the competing natural disasters.
You know what? I like it too. Let's do it. Let's do it. It kind of reminds me of a bunch of those Calvin and Hobbes cartoons from back in the day. where Calvin will be playing with something and be like, these disasters or this is happening, this plane is coming to crash, and this thing is, this train is just derailed, and little does Farmer John know that it's all converging on him. You see like 3 or 4 different things like all coming at him, and that's kind of what this reminds me of. Okay, so first of all, what we need is volcano. So I'm thinking tropical island. What do you think, like a Hawaii type situation?
Yeah, Hawaii is a great state.
Or like Fiji or something like that. So we have this volcano. It has to be, I don't think it needs to be smoking or erupting. I've recently been into reading Jules Verne books to my kids at night, because I'm interested in them, and my kids a little bit less so. I mean, the trick to getting kids to go to sleep when you're at story time is you have to tell stories that they only find semi-interesting.
That's true, and if I remember correctly, like Jules Verne was one of those authors who was really into the technology behind, like, okay, well, how do we make this submarine work?
Yeah, I mean, his books are really interesting. We're reading Journey to the Center of the Earth right now, but in The Mysterious Island, which we just finished, he talks a lot about the people on this island tracking the progress of a volcano. So we have, let's give this guy kind of a cool looking, hut. That doesn't look cool at all. I don't have any reference for what Hawaiian, like traditional Hawaiian huts look like. So let's make something up and give this guy something, kind of cool and, Well, there was that. I did visit the Polynesian Cultural Center once, and they did have some of these just sort of really cool domed structures. I'm probably butchering this culturally, but and I'm sorry, all of you who are Hawaiians that are watching this.
This was done with no reference, so
this is done with absolutely no reference. So there was, I remember them having like these sort of like arched domiciles. But anyways, what his home looks like is a little bit less important than what's about to transpire here. So we start on this mountain, and in contrast to the volcano, I think we need to make this guy's place a little smaller. And then I think we can also have, some tropical, lush island, flora. So we're not going to like make a huge production out of it because, honestly, that stuff takes a long time to draw. So we do some flowers, those
that's for the background department to worry about.
Lovely hibiscus flowers. If we had a background department, I would use them absolutely. Good background artists are awesome to have around. I mean, they really make a huge difference in any production. But let's have some sort of foliage or something that he's planting here. And then camera-wise,
we got a question in the chat from John Animates, who's asking, if there's a bad storyboard, can animators still produce something great? And I think like the whole point of the storyboarding process is to refine your visual storytelling ahead of time so that you don't make mistakes in the more expensive phases of the production pipeline.
In my experience, is often the opposite, that it was done really well on the board and the animation crew screwed it up. That has been more my experience. However, there are, if you see some of the stuff in like a lot of like features, the boards are awesome, but they don't necessarily always like fully reflect the end product, because it goes through a layout department and goes through a bunch of other things. But where storyboard is really, you know, fast iterations, like you're you know, exploring things. So yeah, it can work where an animation crew will come on and refine what's in the board like quite often. As far as like fixing stuff, it really depends on the animation director and
There's
how
always
much
opportunities to
sway
make
they
things
have.
better or make things worse, right?
Yeah, always. Gosh, I feel kind of bad about this. My ignorance on proper Hawaiian domicile in any kind of historical context. Anyways, let's get some clouds in here, because, you know, clouds are always nice to have around. Clouds are a great way to encapsulate a composition if you need it to be.
Clouds can go wherever you want.
Clouds can go wherever you want. Okay, next. So now we need to establish our character, the volcano. So let's get a new shot in here. Boom. So going back to economy, let's just take this original shot here of the BG, and we will actually, it's on the wrong layer. I'm going to put that on the actual BG layer, but we're going to copy that and we're going to paste it on A. Now, using our fine camera tool, we are going to zoom in right here. So now we can have a panel where he's just dormant like this, and then we're going to cut that and then have you know, maybe a little inkling of an awakening going on. And I'm going to duplicate that panel. Do what I have to do sometimes and stack up my my palettes, or my what are they called? I'm blanking out on the name. If you go to Windows, you can see with the toolbars. So I have to stack my toolbars because I have a lot of toolbars often. All right, so we duplicated that, and now we can have, you know, a proper awakening. So we can
I like the transition from the blink to just big eyes.
So we have a little thing going on there. And then, of course, we have some wickedness in the eyes of this volcano. And we're going to have him shift sort of slightly. And then maybe take this little top section and tilt it forward a bit. Because, I mean, the only real cartoon that I think that we have regarding any sentient lava is that one Pixar, or sentient volcanoes, is that one Pixar short where the two volcanoes fall in love. Which was very cute. It was a sweet little short. I felt kind of bad for that one volcano who was so lonely.
That tends to be the way with Pixar shorts.
Yeah.
We're going to make you feel sad about a thing.
just to make you feel happy. We're going to jerk around with your emotions as much as possible. Because we can.
They do a good job of it. Ooh, I love that grin.
If you learned anything from the Grinch, is that curl the ends of that mouth.
And then his heart grew 4 sizes that day.
No, this is when he has the revelation that he should go down and jack up the Who's, take all their stuff. And he has that one smile that just goes curls and just keeps curling.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have ignition, and I think we do need one thing before he gets all totally evil like that. Yeah, he needs to have recognition, right? So that's happened. We can get rid of that because we just duplicated that panel. I think we need to have a so that didn't play terribly well, so we got to switch that up a little bit. So when we relate to the other panels, we can see some sort of progression or something.
It's difficult too
so
because
we can see how people. No, people's are overrated in characters.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do it with eye direction. Like, watch what we're going to do now. Is we're going to duplicate that, and we're going to tip the brows, and we're going to just scoot these over like this. Finish up those eyes. So we make one eye bigger than the other, then it implies a sense of direction. You know, and then we'll again use the marvelous skewing tool.
Yay, vector lines.
Yay, vector lines indeed. Dude, vector lines, whenever I go back to a bitmap program, I kind of struggle. Sometimes
just being able to bend a line is great.
You're like, man, I have to redraw this if I don't do it right the first time. What kind of crap is that?
That's fine. Just create everything on a new layer.
And then he has to look down. Then he can get his. And again, no pupils, but the shape of the eye.
And also position on the face too.
Yeah, is what's going to get us here. Now I'm just a little too far.
This would make a great emoji.
And then, I kind of like how he sort of bulks up a little bit. I'm gonna make that a bit more pronounced, where he's sort of he's feeling his destructive power building. And then, even more wicked. It's like, yeah, I've got a target. I think we also need to see in this first panel, I think we need to see some guy kind of, coming out to work the fields, or he's already out there. Maybe have a guy in his family. He's got some kids running around.
Yeah, a kid playing in the
the hard working, guy who's got his stuff going on, is working there with his wife, who's doing a ton of stuff with him, and they're we're just working their land.
You're setting the stakes.
Yeah, you got to set up like, if this guy's going to be mean and cruel, and if it's going to be something that these two natural disasters are competing over, you got to have something to contrast it, from the destruction, something that you don't want to see like totally wrecked. Maybe there's like an older kid who's kind of helping out as well and sorting through some stuff, and maybe digging or something like that. And then the ones that are still too young to be working. Anyways, then Volcano awakes, looks around, looks down. Oh yeah, this is going to be fun. But then we have to.
Maybe a tap on the shoulder.
We've done this trick before, but I think we might need to do it again. And let's take this panel, and we will reuse it. And we'll just change the expression a little bit. Have some sort of off-screen sound or something that motivates a look up. Again,
a cough or a
or just a or some sort of a thing that indicates our second character, which now we're going to do a over-the-shoulder shot. So we've got our volcano in his massiveness, and we've got a little farm below. And I think we're going to have to make these just a little smaller, because we need scope. We need scale here. We need to see that there's, something sort of building. And then, of course, we need to see, like, the ocean. I almost want to make, instead of a tornado, make it a tsunami, because I think that would be much more in line with the given climate. But it was said tornado, so we'll make it a tornado, and that will just be distant.
I mean, you got 4 classical elements, right? So you pick 2. It's hard to go too wrong.
We can also do is see things reacting to the wind, like the trees or something like that. So we'll have just a shot in between, with some trees just starting to get blown around, coconuts and all that. And we're just going to indicate this as, going back and forth. And when we improv these storyboards, they're not going to be perfect. Storyboards are often based on much, much, much iteration, and people like having different inputs on what a board should be. I always, it's always fun.
Reference.
Yeah, reference. Oh gosh, yes. References is huge. Especially if you're boarding something you don't necessarily know like a ton about. And I think that's one of the cool things about storyboarding is I feel like you learn a lot about different things. And I think board artists tend to, artists in general should do this. And most do. They have like a sort of an internal library of visual information.
Yeah. Well, if you're drawing the world, you should know how it works, right?
Sure. I mean, even if you're drawing a world that you made up yourself, you should know how that works. Okay, so we have this shot of all these trees getting blown around, and then looking up, we see over this horizon, we see the formation of a, you know, the twister coming this way. And then let's just take a quick snip of that. And let's make this twister bigger. Still hasn't crested the horizon quite yet. And now we need a close-up of the twister. So we'll do this sort of a thing. And then like some sort of kaiju, it's going to lift its head up. And since wind doesn't necessarily have any kind of a face whatsoever.
I do like the eyebrows, though. That's fun.
I remember, when they did the Titans in Hercules. I remember just being blown away.
Destroy Zeus.
Yeah, I just remember being blown away by that animation. Be just like, oh my gosh, that's like one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
That was fantastic. That was a fantastic set of scenes.
So we have this sort of down like this, and we can indicate the wind. And then he looks up. Have smoke coming up from the volcano. The little farm, implying some sort of distance between the two. And then they have
how do we show the
basically that showdown.
I
think that personally, I think it should be, I'm going to wreck this thing, so I'm not going to let you wreck this thing because I'm wrecking this thing. And, it's one of those things where it's like,
me.
Yeah, where like one of them starts to attack. So I think that they both need to acknowledge that they're both after the same target. Or maybe we see that the
one
rival
pulls out a calendar and is like, no, this is my destroy the farm day. I was booked for this.
Yeah. It's like, sorry, buddy. This is reserved. You're gonna have to go.
I'm gonna have to talk to your union rep because.
Yeah. Because get out of my way, man. Like that sort of thing. Just gonna do some quick housekeeping bits. I think we go back to this shot. Going back to economy of storyboarding. We see that this wind monster is moving forward. And he's gonna attack, but Lava Man, not to be outdone. And again, we can reuse things if it fits the story. So I'm going to make a new, and then we can reframe it since we need something more up here. So, and then moving forward, I think we may need one more of this, where we actually can really see movement coming forward. So, whoa. And then even something like this, where we see a move is being made. I was here first,
Yeah, I think that works.
And this can be like, oh no, you don't. And he can be like, you can see like fire and magma like coming up, and then he could be just like starting to spout it out. Let's see. Let's just change this color really quickly, and then change it back. And you can just open up and just blah. All of this lava starts pouring out.
I do like the gross out too of it.
And just chaos is beginning. And then now I think we need to cut to the not as oblivious as they were before people that see the turmoil beginning. And we're doing like really simple drawings because we always run out of time.
I feel like we have a lot of panels this time, though. I feel like we made some progress.
Yeah, I feel like we're making great progress because we're not spending all the time on good drawings. These are thumbnail boards. And this guy who's, got his farm instruments. We've got the older kid here in the background. And then maybe even like the little ones over here who don't really know what's going on. The parents do. Mom's in the foreground. Dad's right here. Yikes. It's always interesting, and it's a challenge, and it probably always will be, to stage multiple characters in a way that's both convincing and natural. Because we can get groups of people that look like they're just like they look staged, So again, I think a lot of that comes back to, and I know we've talked about this before a little bit, is setting down good geography.
Like, where are they in the scene? Where are they in space?
Yeah. Because if we have our geography nailed down, then we have a better chance of being able to stage them convincingly. And of course, this kid over here kind of looks derpy, but whatever. And then we've got maybe some palm trees here. They're starting to go crazy. And then we have, I kind of feel like it should be them like looking one way and then like looking the other way and being like, all right, which one's going to get us first, you know?
Yeah. And then as the conflict happens, they both just look at each other and shrug.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I think what should happen in this story is that like one should try to do something, then the other like counters it. And so they keep countering each other until like their farm is like even better than it was before. Because it's now like, I don't know. I think we have a second pose here, which what we'll do is a fun Storyboard Pro trick and just turn that a different color. And then we'll just draw on top of it back with the color that we had before.
And while you're drawing, when you join a new production, do you have conversations about the production and the limitations or their animation process?
I think a lot of that comes with just talking to the director that you're working with and what they expect of you. Different shows have different sort of aesthetics, as we all know this. But I think it comes down to just finding your legs on the show. I usually say that it takes a good 3 storyboards before you really understand it fully, or at least have a good sense of what you're doing. Because and some directors will be a little bit more hands-on with this process than others. So where they'll be like, well, in this show, we don't tend to, like, there was a show that I had tested for where they're like, don't make these characters smile for like 95% of what they do. Like, even if the track sounds like they should be smiling, make them not smile. Which I found odd, but if that's the way they want to run their show, that's the way they want to run their show. So we have, oh no, oh no. And then for good measure, I think we should do one more oh no. Back the other way.
Yeah, like that.
Oh no, oh no, oh no. Because I think we need to see the first bits of destruction happening, right? You have to see the lava coming down and starting to like wreck stuff.
Sort of sizzling trees and foliage.
Yeah, we see some stuff that's like starting to burn, and you see things catching fire as this lava is like flowing down and starting to like destroy the natural comfortable world.
So one thing you don't usually see in movies is that the air over like lava or magma is really, really hot.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, when they did Lord of the Rings, and there's like Frodo and Sam like on a rock in the middle of a lava bed, I was like, those dudes would be frying right now. They're basically
roasted.
Yeah, they're totally roasted. Like, you see videos of guys that are doing like seismological surveying on volcanoes, and they're in like these spacesuit looking things to keep some semblance of the heat away from them. Like they're specialized suits, and you can't even go like near these places because it's just so incredibly hot. All right, so again, thumbnail drawing is terrible, but explanatory, hopefully. Sometimes when you're working on stuff like this, it really helps just to drop a quick tone, and that tends to say a lot. You know, you just drop like a really quick.
Orange is hot.
Yeah, it's lava color. Well, there's lots of different colors involved in lava, but you know, you can have just a simple color like that. And then I think we need to see one more shot of it getting even closer. You know, like to like the edge of the farm or something. You know, where it's like getting to the you know, borders of the fields. As things are just sort of, you know, smoking
Maybe a
and
fence
burning.
post or marker.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. A fence post.
Something that reads as like constructed, civilization,
Yeah,
agriculture.
house right here, and then we have the people. I think not all of them should be that small, and the little ones right here, and then you know, we have the family right here. We see, you know, their nice, beautiful house and all of that stuff, and about to be destroyed as it comes along. And again, we'll just drop a quick tone on that and just sample that, add it to my swatches because you can do that. And then I think here it needs to be thwarted by the wind.
Maybe like a big puff up cheek sort of thing, and then.
Yeah, I think we need to go back to the conflict between the two.
Like trying to cool soup.
Right, exactly. Let's go back to the wind monster, the tornado monster. Maybe put like a little teeny ground plane here.
I really like the organic shapes too in the tornado because it feels like very fun, very loose to sort of see.
Well, you know, it's you ever see the Mickey Mouse cartoon, The Little Whirlwind?
I'm trying to think of. I'm not sure I've seen that one.
It's a one where Minnie is baking some sort of pie, and Mickey comes sniffing around, and she's like, you know, no loafers, Mickey Mouse or whatever, to him, basically saying, you're not getting pie for nothing. If you're going to do it, you're going to work for it. And so he's going to rake her yard, right? This little cyclone comes along and messes up all of Mickey's plans, of course. Because the one thing that old school Disney cartoons are known for is the main character having a hard time because some other character is just a complete douche to him. You see that, like, it used to frustrate me so bad when I would see, like, oh, hey, here's Donald Duck. He's got a farm. Oh, some little jerk gopher is going to wreck the whole thing, like, for no reason other than he's a gluttonous, hungry little jerk. That used to drive me crazy. we can just take this drawing and manipulate it a little bit. But to my point though about that one, the whirlwind had just so much character in that Mickey short. It just would bounce around, and I feel like it was reminiscent of some like animation exercises that people do with flour sacks sort of stuff, where you have this like little thing and it's just bopping around. That you can
get
do
a lot of expression out of very simple characters.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Sometimes the more detail you add, the less you have to work with.
So here we're going to have the whirl, or the cyclone man. And then let's cut back to this shot. We're just going to duplicate that shot. Come over here. And we're going to see just a little bit of progression, because lava doesn't travel that far, but it does travel. That's going to be gone. This is going to be gone. That's going to be gone. And then it's going to be, have flown, or the lava is going to be flowed. Flown? It's not flown.
Flowed?
Flowed.
Yeah.
The lava has flowed down further.
So.
And then it's going to be intercepted, because it's definitely not flown. And it's going to be blasted by that wind. And we're going to see like all of the stuff in here and the people. All this is going to be blown to the side. Like, whoa! Love that like little crappy sound effect I made. Whoa! Everything should have this sort of bend to it, like it's under tremendous pressure, but not to the point where it's going to wreck anything. But
just to demonstrate how strong that wind is.
Yeah. Hair goes, whatever people are wearing are going. They're bracing themselves against it. Trees obviously are getting blown over. And then we're going to go back to this, and we're going to copy that and then paste it. And what we're going to have is this, where we are going to just erase this part. And then we're going to just turn that to a dark gray. That might be a little too dark. But so we have
now rocks.
And we can put like a little something behind that. So this we'll make this kind of a red to show that it's cooling. And then that. And the new shot. No, actually, again, reusing. We're going back to an old shot. We're going to grab this guy.
Back to the volcano or the family? Okay.
Going back to the volcano, because he's just been thwarted, right? We're going to take that panel. We're just going to pop it right there. Whoops, that did not work. Let me do my keyboard shortcuts better. There. Select panel. Copy. Paste. There we go. And then we're gonna duplicate that panel. And then we're gonna change a couple things about it. We're gonna get rid of this stuff.
We have about 5 minutes left. Do we want to run through the sequence?
Sure. You know, I think we definitely need to have a collaboratory where we like finish these, or maybe open it up to people to, you know, tell their versions, or anybody who feels like animating one of these. I don't know. Anybody who has infinite time on their hands.
I kind of feel like we need a supercut of all of the storyboards.
Sure. So you'll get to see a bunch of half-baked storyboards. So that, sir, is offensive. Okay. And I was thinking that the volcano could like spite the wind by like throwing up a wall of lava that it just cools into a barrier, so the wind can't get at it that way. All right, we have a volcano in a tropical location. And it pans out, and we see that there's a thriving farm and a lovely family down there that are tending to their crops. And here we have a volcano that awakens with a and then looking around, what's going on, and looking down, then ooh, hey, somebody to mess with. Evil laugh. Something off screen, some sort of wind starts picking up, and he looks. I think one of the things that we could do to show this, now that I think about it, visually, is a change in the direction of his smoke. So where the smoke all of a sudden starts blowing in a different direction. That would be the visual change. But of course, you know, we can feel wind, we can sense wind, but we can't see it. So we have to rely on other things that are being blown by the wind in order to see its effects. Trees shaking, going back and forth, and then we see a new player on the scene. And that player makes himself known. He goes forward to start jacking up these people. And as he's about to do it, no, I'm gonna get there first. Bah! And then oh my gosh, and then oh my gosh, and then oh my gosh again, as lava pours down blah, upon all of their stuff. We see them, the lava heading for the fine family farm, but the wind is like, I don't think so. Blows out the lava, which is now inert and cannot do anything against the people there. And this guy's like, what the heck? And starts getting angry. And then, yeah, we can go back and forth for this for a while. I think it would make for a fun little short.
Unfortunately, we're out of time. Mike, are there any upcoming events that you'd like to mention for our audience?
Absolutely, yes. Lightbox Expo is coming up, and in collaboration with Toon Boom, Wacom, and MSI Computer, there is a contest going on called Animation Dance Party. This is not the first one that we've had. So if you go to YouTube, look up Wacom Animation Dance Party, you'll see the first one that we did. And now you can go to bit.ly/animation dance party and find out about our new contest. What we're asking for are dance cycles between 24 to 48 frames per second at 120 beats per minute little track. So animated dance cycle, if you're going to Lightbox and submit it, and it will all be composited into a big thing. And we have some great judges this year for who should win those prizes. I myself am one of them. And we will be giving away some really awesome tech.
And Lightbox is a really great time too. So
Oh yeah.
thank you everyone for joining us for Collaboratory. If you enjoyed today's stream and don't already use Storyboard Pro, you can download a 21-day free trial from our website at toonboom.com and make sure to tune in next time.